TNTM the show presents Comicast 301 with your host
Pablo Gunner.
And I'm JD, and we are Talk Nerdy to Me, and we're here to talk nerdy to you about the week of this week's comics, which is the week of the 30th of August. Yeah, August 30th, 2017.
27th, I thought. I checked the date.
Are you sure? I want to say it was the 30th.
27th, yes.
Wow. Are you sure? Because I could have sworn it was the 30th. August.
30th. Okay, you were 100%
okay,
correct.
Cool, yeah.
So I have the wrong number on the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. It can be fixed.
So we're here to talk to you about this week's comics. We got very little to talk about since it was week 5 for comics. So
well, Marvel still put stuff out
yeah.
like it was a normal week.
Yeah, but
it was DC that was like,
annuals.
oh, we're just gonna put out annuals and stuff, and well, an All-Star Batman.
Yeah, because All-Star Batman is awesome.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna talk about like some of the video game stuff, the free stuff that's coming up for PlayStation and for Xbox.
Yep.
All that stuff. And then probably chat about some Defenders since we've both seen it now. And maybe some John Wick Chapter 2 and whatever other nerdy things. But we're going to get into the comics first and foremost.
We're not going to leave you waiting this time.
Yes.
So we have our own grading scale here. Buy, skim, pass. And of course, buy, strong buy, weak buy, strong skim, weak skim for variations. And of course, pass, get rid of it, trash it. We don't even want to read it. And then we have our contenders and our runners up for our best book of the week, which we call our B-Bow.
Back and bag of the week.
Yeah. And I think this week's going to be tough for me.
Is it?
And there was a couple of books that I read that were
I'm not even going to choose because I've only read half the books. So I'll probably do written reviews, I guess.
Or do another podcast like we did, when we were separated.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was sad. We were separated, and then we came back together at Comicast 300, and it was just a momentous occasion. And yeah,
I was gonna start a feud with you, but I knew 300 was coming up, so I was like, I don't know, maybe 300 would be the perfect one to just come out of the rafters and hit you with a chair. I
don't know.
No,
we never did figure out. So, who got more views on that week? Was it you or me?
I
mean, not like a competition or anything like that, but I'm actually curious.
You know what? I'll have to check because they are separate podcasts. Because there's one post for the website, but on the actual like podcast garden or whatever, it'll show the actual numbers. So
I'm kind of curious about that.
But you got a lot of views on YouTube on the live stream by yourself. So
it's because I'm ugly.
People can relate. No, I don't know.
I hope they can't.
I don't know. I love that golden flowing hair, but we also have a theme song.
Yeah.
A tone that tells us, hey, it's time to shut up.
It's the Oscars wrap it up thing.
Yeah. Tell us your grade and let's move on to the next one.
Remember, it's the Oscars wrap it up, not the Trojan wrap it up.
Yes. But it kind of the same because we are done at that point,
So here's the tone telling what.
So here's the tone. Yeah.
Tell
if you know what it is,
he'll hook you up.
I'll hook you up with the free digital comic. Oh, I didn't let it go on very long. Oh. Anyways, so
I already know.
Yeah, you should. If you're hardcore, you know what it is. Be very specific because we know. Like you could hear it and you're like, oh, Did
anybody get last week's in its totality?
No, I don't think so. So if you still want to guess last week's, I have Iceman available as well as X-Men Gold, I think.
Or was it Gen X? I think it is X-Men Gold.
So we didn't review Gen X last week.
That was the previous week.
Or no, the previous week. Yeah, neither of us reviewed it. And there was something else too. Star Wars, the one with Sana and Lando, which was the...
Yeah.
Anyways,
I know.
You want to get into it?
So, kapow. It's time for us to get into it. We're going to start out with Spider-Gwen number 23. We have Hannah Blumenreich and Jason Latour are the writers.
What?
Hannah Blumenreich, Jordan Gibson, and Rabi Rodriguez are the artists. Rico Renze is the color artist. Clayton Decals doing the letters. And for it being a Spider-Gwen, show book, it's not really about Spider-Gwen. We start out with Uatu the Watcher, kind of watching over some reality television from his Earth or whatever, or from somewhere. And then the Watchers kind of go and say, hey, you're not doing your job. You're kind of fired. He's like, oh, no, I'll watch. And we get this look into the MJs, which is Mary Jane, Gloria Grant, and Betty Brant. And they're all talking about the band and how Gwen's going to stand them up and everything, and how MJ gives her suspicions on who Gwen is Spider-Woman. They they run into one of MJ's exes. They have to get his records and stuff, so it becomes a little, thing. And the MJs do perform after a lot of drama, but, only as a 3-piece band and not a 4-piece band. And Mary Jane kind of decks this guy. It's pretty awesome. I mean, and then, of course, Mary Jane texts at the end, hey, I hope you come back safe to Gwen, because, of course she knows. I mean, she's not going to let on that she knows, I guess. I don't know. There's no telling where this comes from. But for it being a Spider-Gwen book and it not at all focusing on Gwen herself, I love this. This was great. I enjoyed the ever-loving crap out of this. So, good job, Hannah, and who was it?
Jason Latour, your writing.
This was fantastic issue. Very standalone. If you want to jump in, this is a good spot to jump in because it's a break in all the action. So
I will say the art is different.
Yes.
So but it still flows with it pretty well, especially since it just focuses
on the Mary Janes. So here's a digital code, strong by contender from me. He'll probably give his review in a future content and whatnot. So here's the digital code. 4, T is in Tiger, G is in Glory, Q is in Queen, H is in Hector, 1, G is in Glory, 7, K is in Craven, Z is in Zarbon or Zaz, 5, and Z is in Zaz. Yeah, I'm mixing my genres here.
Cool. Now it's on to Generations, The Archers, but it's Hawkeye. It's the Hawkeyes. Number 1, we have Kelly Thompson as the writer, Stefano Raphael as the artist, and then Digicor as the colorist, and then Josebino as letterer.
And which cover did you get? Because evidently, so I got this one.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's an Alex Ross variant.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Alex Ross either. So, yeah, we have Hawk S, and she's on this island.
Where there's a bunch of archers around from all different periods of time, evidently. And she runs across a young Clint.
Yes, they have not met yet. And so, and they're teaming up, and she's like, yeah, my name. She's like, oh, I have to remember the times. Hawk. Yes. She doesn't want to tell him exactly who she is because she doesn't want to mess anything up. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. These cheesy characters and stuff, and you get a bit of his past and how his mentor was. Yeah, and then we have the swordsman, and then of course the Taskmaster. Yes. That was not even a good fight with the Taskmaster. So this must be a young Taskmaster. Yeah. You also have Bullseye in here. Yeah, and Bullseye really makes a mess of everything. And what's crazy is he's so far back that he doesn't even know who these people are. Yeah. Like, he doesn't know Bullseye. He doesn't know Taskmaster. Like you said, this is like really early. Yeah, this is very time displaced people. She makes fun of his mask and stuff like that, his outfit. And he's like, what about your outfit? It has all kinds of holes. And she tries on his mask and everything, and he's like, good, mentor thing. Yeah, he's like, just stick with the whole. And then she flat out tells him the whole truth. I mean, the whole truth from start to finish. How she feels about him. The future. What he becomes. And Clint's sleeping. He's ignoring the whole damn thing. The whole thing is just napping. Just like Clint would do. He just doesn't care. Yeah. He don't care. He's out there having fun. He's carny folk. So, I mean, and then she disappears and goes back to the vanishing point or wherever this thing is, I guess. I don't know. There's no telling. Once again, I feel like it was good and it was nice and it felt good and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to affect anything on either end.
Yeah.
So
I give it a strong buy, but not a contender. It's missing that one thing that would have made it contender. I don't even know what that one thing is. It's just it's really just missing it. I don't know. It's not contender worthy for my book.
For me, some of the art was a little off too, so I'm going to give it a buy. And also, like I said, it doesn't really, I don't know if it's going to affect anything.
Yeah.
So, you mind hitting the lights while I read this digital code?
Certainly, my friend.
So we have F for Familia, C for Carlos, M for Marcos, D for Diego, G for Guillermo, H for Hector, D for Diego, L for Lupita, N for Novela, Q for Quintana, 5, and Y for Yucca.
Yucca. All right, next up.
I got Lady Mechanica, number 2, or The Clockwork Assassin, number 2, created by Joe Benitez, story by Joe Benitez and M.M. Chen, letters by Michael Heisler, pencil by Joe Benitez and Martin Montiel, colors by Beth Sotelo. Digital inks by Studio J13. So we have Lady Mechanica, and she's talking to Inspector Singh, and he is confronting her about how there was a witness that said, hey, they think that you are the person who is taking out these people who did this project together at Blackpool. They worked on this thing together that actually resulted in the death of this guy that she is close friends with, this Irishman. And his wife and 2 kids died in, like, when they tried to do a presentation of this machinery. His thing got malfunctioned, and his family died. And so they're like, all right, we're going to break into Blackpool and we're going to set up a listening device, and we're going to have Singh help us, like distract him and talk to him and see what's going on. And even the guy does not seem like he knows really what's going on. And then, like, the actual Clockwork Assassin is going to take out the last person, and they try to stop. Boom. So yeah, I love it, man. The tone of this is so great. Like, I just love the steampunk style and stuff, and I hear the voice. Like, who's the chick that does the, like, vampire movies, the Lycans and the Underworld? Kate Beckinsale. I see her in this. Like, I wish they would make a show or a movie of this so they could put her in this role, because she would be so perfect. I hear her voice, like her mannerisms, like, you know, just like how she is, and all these characters are just so well written. You can hear the way that it's written. Remember how, like, Claremont used to write, where, like, he would write in the accents?
Yes.
For, like, Remy or anybody. That's how he writes, like, the Irishman or the English, or, you know, like, you can hear it when you read it. And I love that stuff so much and it's so interesting. It's so cool. It has to be nothing but a strong buy and a contender.
Alrighty. Next up, we have some Mace Windu, Jedi of the Republic, number 1. This is a 1 of 5 because this is the 5-issue series type thing.
Moose Windu.
Yep. Matt Owens is the writer. Denise Cohen is the penciler. Roberto Poggi is the inker. Guru EFX is the color artist.
We have a medley crew there.
Yeah. And we start with a flashback back to Geonosis. Mace is kind of, you know, chopping off, you know, what's his name's head, Jango's head.
Yeah.
This is right before that, and they're like, he's having a discussion with Coyote Mundi about what the role is for the Jedi, whether they're comfortable being warriors and generals and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, Coyote Mundi's like, yeah, maybe this is not a good idea, but this is what we need to be at the moment. And
they have this secret mission for him.
Yep, secret mission.
And he's picked his team. We have Kit Fisto, Prosit Dibbs, and Rissa Mono. I'm most excited about Kit Fisto because I love Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
He's so great.
And of course, he has a similar chat with Yoda saying, you know, hey, you know, this is what's going on.
Which Yoda looked gross.
Yeah, the art for Yoda in this is not the best.
The art in general, I think, is a little
rushed,
weird. Yeah, it looks a little odd. It looks a little off.
And of course, they go through this Imperial blockade, whatnot, and they're in stealth mode, and they come across the planet that they're going to, and they get across a bunch of droids, and they just instead of going stealth, they just kill the droids. I mean, they just murder them and rip them apart. This kind of doesn't work in their advantage because one of the droids gets away. And
was watching them.
Or
was watching from far away.
And he reports to his master, who tends to be something we have never seen before, like a completely different kind of being, so to speak.
Yes, I like the back and forth too between all the characters.
Yes,
with Kit Fisto and then Prosit Dibs as well as that girl. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really interesting. I like the story. Most of the art is pretty solid, but there's times where not so much.
Yeah.
So
as for a 5-issue arc, so far it's got out to a pretty slow start. It's okay.
I thought
it was a buy.
I thought that climax was a little underwhelming. I thought it was gonna be Grievous. Yeah, and I was like, oh, and it wasn't. So
spoiler, it's not a Grievous.
But yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with the same. That for me, it is a buy. It's a buy.
Bye.
So here's the digital code: F for fan, C for camp, M for millennium, F for falcon, V for
Venator.
Yes. P for Palpatine. 5-8. B for
Bosch.
Bespin. P for Palpatine, A for
Afra.
Perfect, and E for
Endor.
Perfect.
All right, next up we got some X-Men Blue. What number is this? I don't know. Let's count.
11, 10.
Alrighty, so we have Cullen Bunn as the writer, Giovanni Valletta is the penciler, and Scott Hanna is the inker. And Guru EFX is the color artist, which is okay and weird, I guess. And let's pick it up. So we got Beast and Gazing Nightshade is this chick's name. And they're talking about the magic that Beast has been using. And they kind of reveal that this Gazing Nightshade or whatever is actually the Goblin Queen. And and then Danger and Iceman are training, whatnot. And Iceman's kind of cutting loose. We get a conversation between Polaris and Magneto on why she should stick around, because he's wanting somebody that's not a yes man, somebody that's going to challenge him and see a different perspective. That way he can train these kids to be what they need to be. And she concedes it. Yeah, she'll do it. Scott and Jean are exploring their nice new telepathic bond. And then Angel or Archangel or whatever the heck this thing is called now, and the Wolverine Jimmy and some chick kind of are all in the snow. Don't really know what they're doing up there. And Beast kind of unleashes hell, so to speak. And we have the Hex Men arrive, which would be the hexed version of the X-Men. I guess it's Pixie, Colossus, Bloodstorm, Nightcrawler, and Beast in full Beast mode with freaking horns and everything. Pretty freaking brutal. And evidently the X-Men have to fight these X-Men. So we'll see about that. Pretty good issue. I enjoyed it. Some good steady action along with some exposition. Definitely something I would continue reading. So strong buy contender for me.
I feel like the art was off, though.
It did feel like the art was off, but I didn't care too much because when you're ripping into other dimensions, art's going to be off. That's how you see it.
That's how you justify it.
That's how you justify it. So here's the digital code. Let me know what you think, and argue with me about it. Tell me why you didn't like it. So Z for Zabrak, W for Wookie, K for Kilo, F for Frank, 990, L for Liquid, Q for Queen, Y for Yellow, T for Tomas, and X for Xavier. Got some All-Star Batman. All right, I got to get this book pulled up. Credits are in the front, I think. No, it's in the last. It's the last of the book. So it's All-Star Batman number. I forgot what number it is.
13.
All right, we have Scott Snyder as the script. Rafael Albuquerque is the pencils, inks, cover, and variant cover. Jeez, Rafael, done some good work here, and you had a workload. Chris Peter is the colors, and Steve Wands is the letterer. And it's basically an Alfred story, more or less. I mean, that's the best way to put it. I mean, it's not bad at all. We split back and forth between Bruce and Alfred, and then Alfred back when he was in training or doing some sort of ops. And yeah, we have some drama where it's like Alfred's like, I'm gonna die and fall, and don't let go. And Bruce does everything to save him. And then we get flashbacks of Alfred doing his MI6 or MI5 or whatever thing it is. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice duology and dichotomy between the two characters, and it's enough where you're actually interested and engaged in the story. However, the art style is just, it fits the tone of the story. It's amazing. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much because it's about, Alfred himself and what he did, and he kind of goes all commando at the end of it, and that's kind of where we end. I mean, again, I don't want to spoil too much because it's a great story. So, strong buy contender for me. Scott, you knocked it out of the park, man. Some great writing. I love it.
All right, cool. This has a digital code. I'm going to hold on to it for now.
We have a request.
We did have somebody that already answered the
tone.
The tone.
Correctly?
But I'll take more because, like I said, we have All-Star Batman that's still
they've
available.
already made a request for
and they've made a request, so we won't be giving that digital code away. But it is time for a commercial break, so let's go ahead and talk about one of our sponsors, which we will talk about Santa Fe Comic-Con.
I'm excited about this, man. I mean, between them making more Santa Fe Comic-Con announcements and now finally doing, Albuquerque Comic-Con in January announcements, I mean, wow. It's going to be better than last year. And that's hard to top because last year was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
We had a blast. But yeah, we have the dynamic duo of Jason David Frank, Amy Jo Johnson going to be there. It's going to be the first time we've been together in a while, at least out in New Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We have the
Colin Baker. Colin Baker, who is
like one of the fourth or fifth doctors.
Sixth doctor. Kane.
Yeah. And
the wrestler Kane.
And Lita.
Lita. She was with the Hardy Boys. She was with the Hardy Boys. And then Marina Sirtis, she was
Deanna Troy from The Next Generation.
Yes. We have Mike Moe, who is from Inhumans, which is really cool because that show's coming out.
I'm going to talk about that later, probably.
Andy Field, Kellen Goff, who is from Five Nights at Freddy's, Kevin Graveau.
Which, our buddy, we got to definitely talk to him.
We have another person from Star Trek, Tracy Lee Coco, Jason Narvi, and Paul Schreier, who are Vulcan Skull. So that's awesome. We have Tim Rose, who I guess was Howard the Duck and Akbar.
Okay, it's a trap.
Yes. Gil Gerard is Buck Rogers, Felix Silla, Gail Wagner, Bob Layton, Don Glut, John Lucas, Andy Kuhn, David Harrigan, Francesco, Brian Polito, David Brohawk Williams, and then we have cosplay guests Ash Kai, Kitty Kaboom, Maddie Cosplay, Madison Vanderlingen, Rosanna Rocha, Kara Nicole, Jackie Daniels, Kimberly Dunaway, Jesse James, and Batmanda. And I'm sure we'll see many more people there, that we know.
And we're going to be asking cosplayers a specific question. We're going to ask every single one of them a specific question. are gonna montage it because it's gonna be awesome. Because we're expecting some good stuff out of every cosplayer. So if you're cosplaying and you see us around Santa Fe Comic Con, just hit us up. Say hi for a couple of minutes. Hey, here you're asking some questions. Yeah, you never know. You'll be up on the video here. But yeah, Santa Fe Comic Con, October 20th to the 22nd. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Tickets are on sale now. You can hit them up online. SantaFeComicCon.com, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And it's going to be at Buffalo Thunder.
Yeah, fantastic. I can't wait to go eat there.
Yeah, yeah.
It is really good. So, yeah. All right. Ready to get back to some comics?
Comics.
I have Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers, #2.
Go Flower Rangers.
And this is written by Ryan Parrott, illustrated by Dan Mora, colors by Raul Angulo, letters by Ed Dukeshire. So this is a little confusing. It starts 97 days before Arrival Day, and you have Kimberly and... No, not Jason. Some guy named Matt. I thought it was Jason, but it's not Jason. I don't think it's some guy named Matt. And they go to this carnival. They're having fun. She gets sick. And that's like their first date, is her just like getting sick and like throwing up in his toilet. And then it goes to one day after Arrival Day. It's all of them fighting. It keeps on going back and forth between that and them going to the past. You have Bulk and Skull. They're interrupting class and stuff. And then it goes back to this thing, which is you have Kim and Matt, and she's like, yeah, you keep on blowing me off. What's going on and stuff. And so like, there's a lot of this real stuff going on. Like Trini, too. She's like, her mom's like, what's going on with you? This isn't like you to be laid out late at night and stuff. And they're like, oh, you cannot be friends with Kim, And yeah, and then Finster's like, oh, we're going to send in this undercover creation. So it was really like, I don't know. It's cool to get like the real life stuff to be like, ask those questions. Like, what do they do? Or what do they say when
they're not in the suits?
Right. Or what do they tell their families? Cause they even say like, Zordon, can't we tell our families? And they're like, he's like, no, that's one of the rules. You can't break that rule. Yeah. And so,
yeah, look how many people found out later in the season.
So they just have to lie to everybody, their families, and like Jason's like, yeah, my parents don't care. They leave me alone. I leave them alone. They have problems, so whatever. Whereas Trini, her mom's interested and stuff like that. And you see them have a nice connection and stuff. It's I don't know, but this back and forth thing, it didn't really
jive well.
It didn't really work that great. So it wasn't bad. And I'm not entirely hooked yet, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it another chance. So I give it a buy.
All right. Next up, I got Thanos #10, written by Jeff Lemire. Herman Peralta is the artist. Rachel Rosenberg is the color artist. Clayton Cowles did the letters. And we pick up where we left off with Thanos being stuck in his nice little cocoon thing in the pit that the three witches kind of threw him in. But he's got this dream or whatever where he is an Avenger fighting Abomination and helping Earth superheroes. And he even leads to the yell of Avengers Assemble. So it's pretty interesting here. He does beat the crap out of Abomination and whoop him up. And then when he finally figures out that he is stuck in this little state here, he annihilates all the Avengers. I mean, just poof. He goes kapow. And that's it, man. End the game. Then we have Thane coming with the Phoenix Force, and he knocks down Nebula and whoever the other guy with Nebula is. And they go into the planet. And then when Thanos comes out of his little dream state, him and Star Fox have a nice conversation that ends very poorly for Star Fox. And he's like, I am Thanos, and I have power, and I will freaking be awesome. And yeah, I mean, I can't even spoil it any further than that, but we're getting ready for the confrontation of Thane being influenced by Death and the Phoenix Force and the god himself, the Titan, the Mad Titan, Thanos. So, yeah, great book.
Strong by contender.
Strong by contender. I enjoyed the art. It's just amazing here. Good story. Good story.
The fall and now the rise,
yep.
and then now we'll have the face-off
war
next. Yes, that's going to be freaking awesome.
So here's the digital code. Check it out.
Yes, U for Ultron, 0, K for Kill, F for Frank, O for Oblivion, F for Frank, V for Villain, G for Great, P for Pain. Then we have X for X-Men, Q for Quasar, and 3.
We had another guess by Vader the Traitor, and
we've had 3 now. This is the 3rd.
Okay, so we got 3. So he got it right as well.
Okay. Did you read Black Panther and the Crew?
I did not.
I did. I did read Black Panther and the Crew. It's number 6, and it is writers Ta-Nehisi Coates and Iona Harvey, pencilers Butch Geist with Mac Chatter, inker Scott Hanna with Chatter, colorist Dan Brown, letterer Joe Sabino. So once again, this one starts 1972 Harlem. It's these two guys, Ezra and this other dude, and it's this guy, and he's kind of gone bad. He's been corrupt. And so he ends up taking him out, not really on purpose, but like this lady is like, you know what, I always thought he was a scumbag anyways. And they're like, okay, good, now we got him out of the way, you know. And then it jumps back to present time where they're having this big rally that's justice for Ezra, and the Maricops are going out of control and attacking these people, and then they're teleporting people out of this this fight. You know, we have the crew finally coming together and helping with this neighborhoodly thing and everything like that. And then there's people that are trying to get
neighborhoodly thing.
Yeah. But it's weird because it's just wrapped up. Like it just
ends.
And you could tell that it was a quick wrap up because you're like, oh, this was supposed to keep going, but it got canceled.
Yeah.
And so they just had to wrap it up really quick in the end. So it wasn't like a complete issue. And it was just like a really quick wrap up at the end. So that was disappointing. It was still enjoyable. And it's one of those things though, that I think it just took too long to
get going,
to get to the point. Yeah. Cause it's like, we're finally getting somewhere and it's issue 6.
And now it's over.
It's got canceled. So, you know, I feel bad, but it's also not, I don't think it was the book that people expected either, because they expected it to be Black Panther and the Crew from his book, because he brings all these people over to Wakanda to help him over there. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that's what I thought it was going to be. Instead, it was kind of the other way around, where it's this crew in Harlem and him coming over to help. So
what's your grade for this issue?
I give it a buy. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I give it a buy.
All right. Now here's the better question. What's your grade for the trade? Because it's only 6 issues.
For the grade, I would probably give it the same, just because it's incomplete. You know, like
it was really story.
It's good, but it's incomplete. Okay. They didn't finish. Like they're just starting to get revved up, and then boom. So I can't. You know, it was enjoyable. It's great. It looks phenomenal. You know, it's interesting. It's good stuff. I like it a lot. But if it had like another 6 issues at least, I think you could at least wrap this arc up.
Yep.
But that's not what happened. So, yeah. Here's a digital code. S for Senor, C for
Calabasitas.
That is great. 0, A for Alamos. H for Hector, 6, E for Eleuterio, A for Alamos, X for Xavier, I for Inigo, 5, and M for Marcos.
Next up, we got some Jean Grey number 6.
Yes.
This is written by Dennis Hopeless, which, Dennis, your writing is definitely not hopeless.
Yeah. Artist Paul Davidson.
J. David Ramos is the colorist, and Travis Lanham is the letterer. and it's a Jean Grey issue. Surprise! But she's on this ritual thing, like the what is it, like the stuff for transmutation? It's like a transmutation circle, and we come to find out that as the aftermath of Secret Empire, magic, the source of magic, has now been depleted, and Doctor Strange, his powers and his ability to use magic have depleted. So he's got to go back to these archaic forms of magic, sigils, runes, incantations. I mean, the old classic style stuff, which I like it. I mean, I'm sorry, I like it.
It's kind of gross and creepy and weird, but yeah, it works. It's cool.
So they go into, like, I guess it's the astral plane, whatnot, and they find the spirit has been speaking into Jean's head, which is, surprise, surprise, it's Jean. Well, a form of Jean. Basically, the Dark Phoenix. That's the short and simple of it. And the Dark Phoenix shows Jean and Strange these images of her past and the way she's reacting through it, and what happened to her. And we go into different points in the past, like when Jean and Scott were being hunted by the people that were trying to during around the Cable birth type thing,
Yeah, I thought it was like the Shi'ar Empire was going after her and trying to kill her.
Yeah, and then
also the Emma Frost Scott
this love triangle type thing. That was really weird. And then the Dark Phoenix herself kind of bears her face, whatnot, and Jean Grey accepts herself, and that's kind of what happens. And then, of course, the Phoenix, accepts this, and she kind of leaves that mindscape of Jean Grey. So in the end, it helps out Doctor Strange, because now Doctor Strange has a helper to help him get magic a little bit more stable, as a stable source of energy. And that person is Jean Grey, the classic one, the one we know and remember and watched die like 8 times. So I enjoyed this book.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was different. The art was very different, but it was so fitting for this book because it changes with different, and his artist was very good at changing the different styles based on what they were covering, because they did like Marvel Girl, classic Marvel Girl. They did, like we said, the Emma Frost, the Love Triangle. They did
the classic Jean Grey with the 90s.
The Phoenix Saga. They did Dark Phoenix. There was many variations, and they did them all differently and uniquely. Yet it was also consistent on how she looked and Doctor Strange looked, and that whole that cosmic,
whatever it is.
Yeah, that stuff. So it was superb.
Strong buy contender from me. And what'd you give it? Strong buy contender?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, and we're going to hang on to this.
This code is for one of the people that answered.
Yeah.
But we can throw in the stack for.
We'll throw it in the stack for strong buy.
Stack. Now, I have Packless number 4 by Dustin Weaver. In this issue, it's Amnesia Cycle, Sagittarius A, and The Adventures of Lucy and Friends. So, oh man, I love this. You just have this kid, and then he ends up talking to this frog, and then the frog talks to this kid, and is like, "You will do something great by making a comic book." And then
hold on. A frog is talking to the kid. So, are there any narcotics in this freaking thing? Because did he lick the frog? I mean,
no,
is this kid gonna die? I mean, a frog talking to a kid? That's some weird stuff, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Then they do Amnesia Cycle, What Has Gone Before. So, and it is very, I wouldn't say convoluted, but there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's a good thing to read. I've been reading, so I just went, you know what? I'm skipping it. So I just jumped into it. And there is a lot of stuff going on in this one too. There's different people doing different things. But what's the coolest is they have these people and they go into this area of the city and all the buildings look like different animals. It is so freaking cool. Like, it's just like all these,
that does look pretty cool, man.
It's really neat. And so you find out, all these different things. There's this guy and they're teaming up with these aliens that are supposed to be evil that the other humans are fighting with, but it doesn't matter in this space, in this place. And then there's these other aliens and they look like animals and they're like, oh, we're going to take this guy out because we don't like what he's doing and he took out some of our people because he's creating this thing. and he's trying to destroy the shadow, like this shadow matter and stuff, and harness it for good, but they want to stop him. And it's just all kinds of weird and all kinds of cool and all kinds of great, and I just love it.
Yep.
It's mind-blowing, and
it's a strong buy as a contender.
Yeah,
no
for
doubt.
sure.
No doubt. All right. And last but not least, got some Star Wars number 35, written by Jason Aaron. Salvador LaRocca is the artist. Edgar Delgado is the colors. And, of course, Clayton Cowles is the letterer. And this is a standalone story. So if you haven't been keeping up with Star Wars, this is a good jumping on point. We have the Rebel fleet, and they're going to be transporting a hut that they broke out of Imperial prison to a Rebel prison. And Han Solo and Chewbacca are supposed to be doing this by themselves. And they want to question the hut himself and go, hey, you know all these weapons and stuff. We can arm our army with your weapons and stuff. And he's like, no, I ain't going to tell you that. And just take me to prison. So they take him to prison, whatnot. Han gets kind of caught without the hyperdrive on the Falcon. Typical, right? And then they get pulled over by Imperials and investigated. They kill the Imperials, and they let the hut gets upper hand, more or less. The art in this is amazing, but anyway,
it is.
The hut gets the upper hand, and he tells him all their secrets. He's like, we're going to Teth. And Han Solo, not being the awesome person he is, he yells out, okay, this is Solo, code blah blah blah, level 3, and all of a sudden the hut gets shocked by his own legs. So and then he starts spilling his guts. Hey, this is my whole plan the whole time. And every few moments he's like, okay, I'm going to send you another shock. Level 4, level 5, level 9. Epic.
I like this hut because he's actually really jacked. Like his arms are really muscular, and so like he has abs and pecs. It's crazy.
It's amazing. This is the best standalone book I read from the Star Wars line in quite some time. It's a strong buy. It's a contender. We are keeping the digital code because it's been requested.
Yes. So that is, throw that in that pile and let's get them all together because it is time for runner-up and B-Bow announcements, right?
Yep.
Let's go through our stack. Let's see what we got here for contenders. We got Star Wars, pack list number 4, Thanos, X-Men Blue, Lady Mechanica, Spider-Gwen, 23, Jean Grey, number 6.
My runner-up is the hardest one to come up with. Because there are 2 books that are just tied, equal to me. And that would be both Jean Grey and Spider-Gwen. Both of those books were tied for runner-up for me. Amazing art, great stories. It was fantastic. Loved it. My B-Bow happens to be Star Wars number 35. Come on. It was great. Kapow. So, if you're lucky to get that digital code from us, enjoy it as much as I did.
So, there's still 2 more comics for me to read and review. Well, to review that neither of us did, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dimension X number 5, as well as Infamous Iron Man number 11. So I'm going to give those away probably separately. I'm probably going to do written reviews for those since there was only 2 books this week that we didn't cover on here. So yeah, and I'm not going to decide because, like I said, I only read half of the books. But I will say Lady Mechanica is way up there, and I think that's going to be my B-Bow. That's what I think.
Nice.
So yeah. And that's it for now. So tell us what your B-Bow is for this week. We want to know people's B-Bows, people's runner-ups, what their grades are for stuff. So, man, I can't wait to read that Star Wars. It looks gorgeous, dude. I love Salvador LaRocca, and just this creative team knocked it out of the park with that art.
Just like if you could take a snapshot of a scene where Han comes in and saves Luke from Vader at the first Death Star, that one snapshot right there, that's exactly what this entire book looks like. Flat out. So That's the hype train, man. It's the hype train.
So, moving on to some video game stuff. I'm going to knock this stuff out real quick, if you don't mind. We have the Xbox stuff, the Xbox Live arcade games, which is Forza Sport number 5.
Yep.
It's September 1st through 30th.
Even though number 7's about to hit.
And that one is for the Xbox One. Then we have Oxenfree, and that's September 15th through 16th through October 15th. I think that one's also for the Xbox One. Then for Xbox 360, we have Hydro Thunder Hurricane. That's September 1st through 15th. And then there's Battlefield 3, September 16th through 30th. And and that's what you got there.
For PlayStation, we have Infamous Second Son. I don't know what the other ones are off the top of my head.
The ambassador actually gave me that, and I'm sorry to say that I still have not played it.
I haven't played it either.
But I heard great things, and I love the other games.
No,
so
just never played them. So
you're missing out. They're really good games.
Sure I have.
They're really good.
Sure, I'm missing out pretty good.
So what else?
I really don't have a clue. I posted it in the group because I found it the official blog from the PlayStation.
We do have Life is Strange Before the Storm episode 1 is out now. So if you like Life is Strange, then boom, get on it.
Yeah.
Episode 1 is out.
Minecraft Story Mode Season 2, Episode 2 is out too. I have yet to play it because I've been busy with other things.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it would be cool to see some gameplay.
Yeah.
For that stuff or whatever. Any of these games that we have this month. I want to say that there really wasn't anything that great from whatchamacallit this month.
Not really.
Well, I mean, Infamous 2 though. Like I will now. I'm definitely gonna play it. I probably won't. I don't know though, because I'm like, well, if it's free, I would like to get it digitally. But I also know that if you have the physical copy, now it's not worth any money since it's free. You know what I mean? Because like I've tried to do that for a game, even at Gamers Anonymous, and they're like, "This is free right now, man. Like you're not gonna get anything for it, so you might as well just keep it, and try to sell it to somebody, or something like that yourself, or just keep it." So. I don't know. Like I unless it's something I really like having physically, I think I'd rather have it I'd rather have it digitally, So, yeah. And then like I said, so John Wick Chapter 2. That was also one of the movies that I saw during my Pagosa weekend, but I forgot about it. And I think it's partially not because it's necessarily a forgettable movie, but there's not a lot of substance there. It's all action. It's all action. I do like that they expand more into this assassin universe, this assassin world.
Guild, yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, the Assassin's Guild. Like, I like that they went deeper into that, and that's what I enjoyed the most about it. And it was really cool. And it was really awesome. But it's just like, it is really cheesy though, where it is like Keanu Reeves. He delivers these lines. It's like, if they come after me, I'll kill them all. And it's like. That's the best like they could give you for lines. Like sometimes he gets some cool lines and there's some cool parts, and then there's like some political stuff too going on with like this Assassin's Guild too. But I just felt like even me, I was like, I could have made this movie better if you would have done it this way, and so it's not bad. The action is cool and stuff like that. It's also kind of like ridiculous and over the top. Just the way like he handles guns. I'm like, you can't shoot with those angles. I'm sorry, you can't do it. Yeah. Like the way, like there's some things where I'm like, okay, that was on point. That stuff, that's ridiculous and over the top. But, that's just how things are. I like his fighting stuff more than anything.
What you give the movie?
I give it a rent.
I actually watched The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh yeah, how was that?
That was actually pretty good.
It looked really funny, but I heard it got horrible. It
got horrible reviews
and numbers.
But man, it looked hilarious. It was good comedy. It was good acting. It was a great story. We had some amazing actors in the movie. I mean, you have, of course,
Deadpool.
You have Ryan Reynolds.
Mace Windu.
You have Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, Nick Fury.
You have Zorg. You have Gary Oldman.
Okay.
You have Elektra in it. The chick that played Elektra in the Daredevil.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she's the main lead in it. So, I mean, she looks great. I mean, it's good comedy. I mean, this is definitely one of those, where you have to expletive out some stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the MF word is thrown around like...
they're really coining in on Ryan Reynolds' shtick as well as Samuel L. Jackson's.
Yep.
I feel like they're kind of playing themselves in a sense, or an
Salma
exaggerated
Hayek was in
version.
it.
No way.
Yes way.
Yeah.
And she says some raunchy stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you watch it with a Hispanic and this can translate for you really well, you're gonna have a good laugh.
Okay, so it's not translated.
Not all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some stuff she throws out where it's good, but
okay.
it's not translated. So
I definitely, I wanted to see that one, especially because I love both those actors. It looks really funny. It looks really over the top. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's a strong rent when it decides to come out on Netflix or wherever it's going to come out at.
Okay.
Because it is a Netflix movie.
So you wouldn't say go see it in theaters?
Oh, go see it in theaters by all means. It's great. I mean, I enjoyed the entire ride.
Now, early showing or it doesn't matter? Or...
It's just fun.
Okay.
I mean, my wife enjoyed it, and she's not into that kind of thing. So
okay. All right, cool. And lastly, I feel like Defenders, probably.
Yep, Defenders.
Defenders was so good. I really don't understand this complaint of, oh, it's so slow. Like, it was slow, but you know what that's called? It's called
character development.
It's called a build. It's called a build. Like, instead of just going, boom, we're just going to mash these characters together for no reason at all. I mean, even though there's things that connect them, you have to make that connection. You have to build up to that instead of just going, boom, it's there. And have a good reason for it and have it go. So for me, and the way that it hit its stride at the end of 3, like when they all come together, but it's not because they planned it. It was just like right place, right time type of thing.
They're all going to Midland
and they have a great moment together, a great moment.
Yeah.
And then to me, my favorite stuff though was just the back and forth between the characters, like Luke Cage and Danny. I love that stuff. And then the back and forth with Jessica Jones and Matt was so funny. Like, she steals the scarf, he uses that, and then she makes fun of his horns.
Yeah.
And she's like, you should have stuck with the scarf. It was a better look, which is funny because that's essentially what he did in the first season.
I liked how all these secondary characters got together. And we had a subplot line there.
Yes, that was really cool.
I mean, obviously Trish is going to figure out that Matt is... Oh
my god, I love Trish so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to see her in that Hellcat tight suit.
And of course...
We're not going to see it.
Spoilers!
Spoiler alert.
Matt's dead. Where everybody thinks he is.
Yeah, I feel like that reveal could have been done a little better, but I think maybe they'll expand on it in his season.
Yeah,
you know that he's gonna have his own season, so
Well, he's gonna be born again. That's what they're basing it off of.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna have Maggie.
Like he's like born again Christian, or
maybe that was the underlying text in the actual series,
well as I think at the end, considering where he is. But anyways, yeah.
It was a great series. I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was a great number of episodes. It was only 8 episodes, so you could binge it in a day if you really wanted to.
You really could. Yeah, it took me longer than it should have, but I got doubled over, and so I had free time, and so I knocked it out. Yeah. I also watched The Flash season 3.
I'm sorry.
I know.
It was well written up to a certain point, and then it was like, oh, we got to resolve this. And they're like, we're just going to resolve it.
Even a reveal of who it was kind of interesting, but it was like the build was too high for what it actually was.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. And then the way that it was, the final 2, well, even like the swap they did at the end, I was like, okay, that's cool, because you're not going to kill her off.
Well, here's the thing.
But you have to kill somebody off of almost same importance, and it's like the person that you killed off, I'm not going to say who it is, but the person you killed off, you're like, okay, you created a character for us to care about, and then you killed him off, and I don't care that much about him because there's other versions anyways, and like I like him, but I'm just like, in comparison to Iris, I'm like, okay,
whatever.
And it was just it was an awful ending. I hope they really turn it around, because for me this season was pretty like there was good parts. Like I love the Grodd stuff. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
And even like this, I like the Cisco stuff a lot. And even like the Caitlin Killer Frost stuff was good. But to me, the main focus was I did not care for. It was too built up, and it was just
the thing. They broke their own rules in the episode Cause and Effect. They make Barry forget things, so the Savitar forgets things. Okay, this makes it where Savitar doesn't go and create Wally, so Wally loses his powers. Okay, that's fine. They give Barry back his memories. Savitar gets his memories back. Wally gets his powers back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got those rules laid out. Well, they go and kill Savitar, so he can't go back and give Wally his powers.
But he still
got them. They broke their own rules in the same freaking season within about 6 episodes. I mean,
well, even it was just so dumb because he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go into the Speed Force," and it's like, what about Jay Garrick with his whole speech of like, "Hey, I've been a speedster for long enough," which I know that they pulled huge spoilers right here. They pulled him out to help. Why didn't he just go back? Instead, they're like, "Oh, you know what, Barry, you done effed up at the beginting, so now you got to pay for it." And it's like, even that was handled badly. I thought Flashpoint was handled horribly. Oh God, it was just a whole mess. There was like the beginning and the ending was just a whole mess. Like there was in between parts that are solid. So I think I don't know. What would you say overall for the season?
Overall for the season, it was a very strong skim.
I think it's worth checking out.
It's worth checking out and watching because the first half of the season is great.
But I would say don't even bother with the first episode and don't bother with the last episode. Seriously, don't. Skip them entirely.
Or here's another
And then
solution.
The filler episodes too were like,
But here's a solution for you.
Like the Magic Maestro or whatever.
And anytime you don't like something, take a drink. And then by the time that you get to the point where we're talking about where it gets horrible, you'll be drunk enough you won't care.
I don't know. You'll be in a rage. So yeah, and that's my other thing about the whole Netflix shows compared to DC shows, as well as like Legions or Legends of Tomorrow versus like Defenders. Who's the obvious better one? It's the Marvel stuff. So how are people so harsh with the Marvel stuff when you compare it to its other thing, its competitor, and it's exponentially better?
Let's go ahead and jump into that bag of worms, why don't we? The Inhumans was released yesterday on IMAX. I have several of my friends who have now watched it, and they have told me their preliminary reviews.
Okay.
So here's the gist of what I've got. Okay, it's like Game of Thrones, but it's poorly executed. It's in IMAX, but you can tell that it was filmed just for IMAX, and it doesn't really add any substance with it in IMAX. And they seem to say that there's like a 15-minute portion of the series, because it's one for episodes 1 and 2. They seem to think there's a 15-minute section just kind of cut that would have changed the entire thing.
Okay.
So the episode 1 and 2 reviews right now, they're not looking good. So I mean, granted, it's only 8 episodes. Excuse me. And then we get like a week off, and then we get Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
I can deal with that. But they screwed this up with the Inhumans. We're not going to see the royal family anymore.
I don't care, really. And I honestly, from the beginning, was like, this is going to be another one of those things that's going to be really, really hard to do and really hard to do right. They're not that popular, period, anyways, like even in comics.
No.
So they're just trying to coin in on weirdos that aren't the X-Men.
Pretty much.
And make them the X-Men, I think.
Pretty much.
And what they need to do is just bust their hump to get the X-Men back or work something out with Fox so they could do things together. Even though they're doing a decent job, it seems like, as far as Legion goes.
Yeah, Legion's great.
We'll see. I haven't heard anything about Dark Phoenix though, or Phoenix Saga or whatever that's going to be.
The Dark Phoenix is going to be grounded, so we're not going to get an intergalactic space story. We're going to get an Earth-based story. So there goes your hopes and dreams of seeing the entire Shi'ar Imperial Guard.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I didn't expect them to fully do it right. It is Fox. Like I said, I haven't been too happy with most of their X-Men
I think
movies.
their next good movie is going to probably, I don't know. I'll give New Mutants a try in February.
I think they're just doing good with. I think the Legion's good, and I hope Gift is good.
Gifted looks amazing. So
yeah,
I'm excited for that. And all this is coming out real soon. I mean, except for Legion. Legion hasn't finished wrapping yet. I think they're still filming, so
that's okay. Take their time.
Take your time. Make it
good.
Perfection.
Yes, we love our Legion.
And do we have anything else to talk about?
I think that's it. I think that's it right now.
All right.
So, thank you for watching. Make sure keep an eye out for all of our stuff at TNTM the Show. I have a new video up from SabakuCon, which is the I'm Right, You're Wrong, where I say I'm right that dubbed is better than subbed, and Tonebone says that subbed is better, and then we ask the people, and I thought it turned out really well, the way that it's edited and stuff, and it's fun the way that it worked out.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate and answer that question myself because I never got the opportunity to throw my 2 cents on it. They're both equal, okay? Dubbed sometimes is a lot better. Dubbed is, okay, I can watch this, I can focus on this, I can listen to the verbs and listen to the words, not to worry about it. However, subtitle does give you sometimes extra meaning. But that being said, subtitles can be wrong, even from the source. Crunchyroll, I'm looking at you for your last episode of Dragon Ball Super because Kui-chan does not mean Muten Roshi. It means Gramps, okay? Subtitle that crap right.
Yes, that's another reason why. And so that's the biggest, to me, that's the biggest showing right there is Dragon Ball Super because I go, I want to watch it right away, so I'll suck it up and watch it because I don't really like Goku's. I've gotten used to it. But I don't like the lady. I'm not a huge fan of the lady that voices Goku.
I'm not either,
but I've been like, okay, whatever. And so I'll watch it just because I want to watch it right away. And then I'll read the subtitles and then I watch the English and I'm like, there's so much stuff that was missed or wasn't translated or what. There's so much more that I get out of this, but I like having it right away. And so it's cool. I say both. I say do both, but it depends because some of them are good and some of them are bad.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing is like some of them are really good subtitled, like the sound, the voice acting. Like I cannot stand the voice acting for Attack on Titan in English. I love the voice acting for the Japanese.
And I like the Sailor Moon Crystal in Japanese or as my youngest calls it, Japan. Bless his soul. Bless his soul. But yes, I like the Sailor Moon Crystal Japanese version better than I like the English audio. I mean,
that's what's great about being the editor for these videos is that I can edit it so that it kind of looks like I win in the end.
Yeah.
So
which I mean you do. I mean, no big deal.
So it's one of the powers of being the editor.
Yeah.
Unlimited power. So anyways, remember, like I said, all of our stuff at TNTM the Show, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter. We post all kinds of different stuff on all of them. So check them all out.
Goofy.
Talk nerdy to me. We'll talk nerdy to you.
And
stay nerdy.
Keep your eyes hungry for
comics.